I believe today is the easiest time ever in the history of mankind to think big. Ever. I'm talking ever. And you'll find out why by the time you're done watching this entire video, why I believe that. I'm going to cover things that you can implement for you to start thinking bigger than you've ever thought before. And here's why. This is my argument. What is difficult is for you and a group of people to decide to create the pyramid in Egypt without cranes. Now that's difficult to think big. That's impossible, some would say. What would seem impossible is for you to invent a machine that weighs tons and tons of weight to tell 400 or 500 people at a time, go in that machine right there and fly 4,000 miles. It's not going to crash. You're going to be safe. And 1 billion people say, okay, I believe you. That's impossible. That's difficult to say I'm going to think that big. Or I'm going to create this ship. It's okay. You guys can, get on this ship. I know we don't see what's out there. Your name is Christopher. Christopher, go out there. And we don't know what's going to happen. We're going to make it out of wood because we don't know how to make it out of metal at that time. You go straight and eventually you're going to get to maybe another land and you can call it's your land while people have been there. That's impossible. That's not thinking big. That's impossible to a lot of people. Landing on the moon for the first time, it's never been done. We don't even know what's out there. You know what? Why don't we just go up there? We don't know what's out there. We keep looking through these lenses and it's kind of cool. I think there is something out there and it's called this and it's called that. Let's go check it out. That's difficult. Today, for an entrepreneur to think big, piece of cake today. Requires energy, requires you knowing the formula, requires effort, requires the desire. But if you're somebody that's watching this and saying, Pat, I absolutely want to think big, I'm going to cover it with you here today. But before I get into my points, I want to first of all thank a lot of you guys. Today's my birthday. And we've had so many people send us gifts from all over the place. I want to thank you. We started off with some strange, what do you call that from our friend Mark Molina? Like an exotic
dancing gram.
What do you call it?
Exotic dancing gram.
Mark, an exotic dancing gram you sent to my headquarters here for a lady to come and sing, happy birthday to you. But, I appreciate that. But, I'm not the wolf of life insurance industry. I think he mistaken me for the wolf of Wall Street. We got so many, balloon galore. We can start a balloon business here. But I got here from John. John, you sent me this here. John, an attorney from New York. And your son, Andrew. Andrew, buddy, I love the note you sent. You keep listening to your pops and you keep learning about what it is to become an entrepreneur. One day in the future, we could possibly vote for you to become a president. I like this gift here from Armin Tatians Senna. I'm a Senna fan. My daughter's name is Senna, exactly Senna. This is how much I love this guy, Senna. And Armin sent me a nice little thing here. Senna, I appreciate that. I'm not going to go through all of them, just kind of giving you a flavor here. James Dean, if we go to the top, it says, dream as if you'll live forever, live as if you'll die today, which he did. But that quote is a great quote. And I'm going to leave one of these here that was funny for me. I get shoes sent to me all the time because of a video I did a long time ago on how I used to set up meetings when I was a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. I would send a box with a shoe in there, say, now that I have one foot in the door, help me get the second one in. And these guys got a little bit more creative. They decided to send me Air Jordans. And I got to give them love, man. This is from Arash Kari. Arash, you are the man and you are creative. And I can't wait to get the second pair of this shoe here. But appreciate all the happy birthday messages I got on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Thank you for all the love. More and more. Every time I hear this message, just validates how many entrepreneurs we have around the world that's following this content and wants to do something big with their life. So let's get right into the episode on how to think big as an entrepreneur. Listen, the usual suspects you'll hear about is what? Books, associations, environment. Pat, you got to read the right books. You got to have the right associations. You got to have the right environment. Absolutely, these are the usual suspects. Whatever I cover with you does not discount this. You need to do this, but I'm covering things you don't typically hear about, the unusual suspects. Then I'll give you a plan on at the end what to do, and some things I'll cover. There's going to be a bunch of points. I don't know how many points it is. I have them all here. It won't be in any specific order. You need to take notes, even though it's typed out on my website. But you'll probably have a lot of questions you want to ask about this. That'll start dialogue on the bottom. Okay, so let's get right into it. One of the things is that I love doing is I look at everything on thinking big from the standpoint of math. So let's just say math. Math has a lot to do with thinking big. Let me make my case to you on what I mean by math has a lot to do with thinking big. The way I used to do it was this. I used to ask myself, what number comes after 3? So if I can make $3, do you think I can make $4? Everybody would say what? Of course. Okay, if I can make $100, can I make $200? Yes, Pat, where are you going with this? If you can make $1,000, can you make $2,000? Of course. If you can make 10 grand in a month, can you make 11 grand a month? Yes, of course you can. So when does this stop? Never. It only stops when you no longer are applying math to thinking big. You see, thinking big to me is purely a math thing. No number is an end number. If I ask you right now, what's the biggest number in the world? You can't think about a number because there isn't a number that's the biggest number in the world. A billion times billion times billion is still a number that's bigger if you give another multiplication times another billion. And that's still not the biggest number if we go against another billion and another billion and another billion. There is no number that's a limit. People are going to hit these numbers. Billionaires seemed impossible until somebody became a billionaire. Today, Elon Musk could be the first guy that could potentially be a trillionaire if he goes at the pace that he's going. This is going to happen. But you need to take these big numbers that seem impossible. And I'm starting with this first. You need to take numbers that seem impossible and just know it's numbers. There is nothing to be afraid of numbers. It's purely math. What is so big about numbers? Nothing is big about numbers. You need to look at math first, period. There's always a math. The difference between a small thinker and a big thinker is multiplication. The big thinker is multiplying. The small thinker is additioning. He's only adding. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 12 or 10, whatever. If it's 5, it's 10. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is not 10. It's a lot more than that. It's multiplication, but it's math. Multiplication, addition, math. It's purely math. So start off with whatever you think seems absolutely big that you cannot do. Bring it down to a number. Look at it as a number that you haven't done yet. That's all it is. It's a number that you eventually need to get to do. So number one thing that I like to do is I look at everything as math. I bring it down, make it a smaller bite, and I know I can get the bigger bite, but I got to get a smaller bite now based on that. Next point about how to think bigger. So whatever the big thinking idea is that I have, I need confidence to be thinking bigger. And confidence happens with smaller victories, okay? If you can have small victories in a game or in business, you eventually start believing you can have the bigger victories. But a bigger victory doesn't all of a sudden happen. A big victory is a combination of many, many small victories that didn't stop after another one. You have one victory, boom, go get another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. All of a sudden, you have a massive victory. So you got to have a lot of your small victories that are taking place together while you're going at it. Another thing I would do is, say you have a big idea and you want to do something big. Say you have a goal in your business. You want to do something big that's never been done in your business before. Test it with 5 people and see if you can convince one of them that believe you. Very interesting exercise. Get 5 of your team members. You got 5 salespeople, meet with them individually or in a group setting. Or take 5 of your employees. Take your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, brother, sister, mom, dad, best friend, whatever it is, and tell them the idea. Hey, you know what I'm thinking about? What are you thinking about? I'm thinking about doing this, and one day we're going to do this, and da. And see their reaction on how it is. If you convince them to believe you even this much, it's possible. Did that make sense? I don't know if that made sense. Try to convince somebody about the big idea that you have and watch their reaction. That ought to tell you a lot. For instance, I remember when I had nothing going on. I was broke, $49K in debt. I had nothing going on. I'm driving a Ford Focus. I would go intentionally to Ferrari dealerships. And you know what I would do? I would go to the car. I'd walk in and I'd walk around in the dealership and I'd be looking at the cars. And I wanted to ask myself, can I convince this car salesman, by the way he looks at me, does he believe I can actually be a qualified buyer? And if you go in and nobody comes talks to you, they don't believe you're a qualified buyer. If you go in and they come and talk to you, like, you know what? He just acted like he believes I can buy this. Maybe I can one day buy this. Go to a real estate showing where they're selling $3 million homes and walk in and walk around and say, I'm here for this open house, great. And see if the listing real estate agent believes you. Watch the reaction. This the first thing they'll do. They go like this. They'll come up, but forget what you look like. You know what they look like? At your body language, at your eyes, the way you walk. If you convince them, they're trying to tell you, I believe you could potentially one day own a $3 million house. That's what they're really saying to you. So take your idea and share it and pitch it to 3 to 5 other people and see how they react to you. If their reaction is believing, even if it's 10, 20%, then it's possible for you to actually go out there and hit that. You just got to think bigger, right? Test it out with the people around you. Another one is study people. When I say study people, I don't mean by studying people in a way where everybody says, go study this person, go study that person. Study what that person studied. So for instance, don't just study Michael Jordan. Study who Michael Jordan studied, which is David Thompson. Don't just study David Thompson. Study who David Thompson studied. Okay, and go deeper in that. Don't just study, I used to study the people that I was looking at in business in the insurance world, and I would say, man, what made that guy special? Who did he study? He studied Teddy Roosevelt. He studied Coach Bear Bryant. He studied Churchill. Man, let me see why he studied those people. This other guy was so strategic. He studied Alexander the Great. He studied Darius. Why did he study those guys? Oh, now I understand why. This guy here, he studied the Chinese emperors, and what was he doing studying the China dynasty and all these guys that built this big military? Why was he studying them? This other guy here, layer it out. And why was Tony Robbins studying this guy? Why was Reagan studying? Why was Kennedy? Why were these people reading? Who were they studying? So go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. What this does to you is this. Let me tell you what this does to you. It tells you that the person that you admire now, at one point they doubted, but they studied other people that injected belief in them to make them believe that they can be the person they are now that you admire. I hope I'm making sense. I'm not trying to get too technical. Go study who they studied, and that'll give you a source of inspiration to know that you can one day be the person that you're looking at saying, this is impossible for me to be like this person. No, you can, based on studying the people that they studied. Let me continue. So next point. Again, Paul's going to put you're putting numbers here, so you're going to put the point. I'm not putting numbers here. Next point is this. I believe, just like I said earlier to you when I said this is the easiest time ever to think big, I also believe this is the most important time to think big. I said this on a video. I've been saying it on mentions. I've been saying it. I believe 100% of world's problems are going to be solved by entrepreneurs. I believe that. I believe 100% of world's problems are going to be solved by entrepreneurs. If we keep giving birth to entrepreneurs who make it, they have one ability. They're problem solvers. They look at something complex. They make it simplified. They add 5 steps to it. You follow it. You win. You can solve cancer. You can solve health issues. You can solve, job creation. You can solve economy challenges that we're facing in the world. You can solve anything, discrimination, anything we have going on. Every single problem in the world can be solved by every single one of them. Our educational system, our political system, our oil challenges we're having. Anything that we have can be solved by entrepreneurs. So as you're watching this, a lot of times the first motivation for somebody who's never been an entrepreneur will say, well, man, it'd be kind of cool if I have a lot of money to have this, to have that, to have this. That's great. There's nothing wrong with all that stuff. Don't let anybody convince you having a big house, having cars, and having toys is not important. If you like it, you go get it. But it's got to be bigger than that. It's got to be bigger than that. You got to want to do something bigger than that. Today, know that the world is counting on you to solve some big problems. You can run your business, but know that you got to figure out a way for your business that's making a lot of money to also make a positive impact in the world. Social cause, positive impact in the world with you being an entrepreneur. Next one, imagination. Big thinkers. If you're ever around big thinkers, today we just had a meeting, literally a meeting right now. Yep. It was a meeting we had right now with me, you, Paul, and Tom, right? And we're writing stuff on the board. All of a sudden, boom, Mario says something. Then I said something. Then Paul said something. I think Paul started it. Paul said something, and I said, Paul, that's a great idea. And then I said something. Then Tom said something. Then Mario said something. And then Mario went to the bathroom, and then he came back. But then Tom says something. Paul says something. And then it led to a massive idea. Then I asked Tom to send an email to a couple guys that we got to get a call on from Australia, and we're doing a call now about this massive idea that has to do with the business that we're running today. But it led to him because it was like, what if we can do this? Then what if that takes place? How about if this? How about if we're able to? What if it costs this much? What if we did? What if it was this easy? What if it was that fast? What if this? Oh my, imagine if we could pull it, seeds, and the roots keep growing, and then boom, all of a sudden you got a massive ideas. So imagination, especially if it's a group of people that are also people that are imagination type of people, and that goes. So a big thinker is all about imagination. A big thinker is all about imagination. Nike used to get killed. Nike was getting killed. A guy, there's a whole complicated story behind it. Some people say it's not him. Some people say it's an Italian mafia guy from New York that came to Nike and said, the way we're going to save it is, there's a guy that's coming out of college, North Carolina. He's the most incredible basketball. He's going to be the greatest basketball player of all time. He goes to Nike and says, let's sign this guy and give him a $500,000 contract. What are you talking about? We don't have money. I'm telling you, forget all these other chumps you're giving $50,000 to $100,000. Give this one guy $500,000, look what'll happen. No. And then Michael comes, they talk, and Michael, all he wanted was an exotic car. Apparently the negotiation ended up with them giving him $500,000 for 2 years or $1 million for 2 years and a Lamborghini or something to Mike. He signed a contract. And then today, you know what this is going to make Mike be worth in the next 10, 15? The number is estimated $20 billion in 10 years. Imagination. This guy imagined what it would happen if we brought MJ to Nike to solve Nike, and Nike dominates everybody. And basketball used to be Reebok. Basketball used to be Converse. Magic was Reebok. Wasn't Magic Reebok? Converse, all these, nobody was looking at Nike as basketball, and then they took off. Imagination. So you don't necessarily have to be the entrepreneur, by the way. You can be working with an entrepreneur in a company, and you all of a sudden come up with an idea like this that takes the business to the next level. You're a big thinker. You're linked to a big thinker. It wouldn't happen without you because you're the big thinker, right? So imagination. Next one. You got to turn off the noise. You got to turn off the noise. The noise needs to be turned off. And I'm talking different types of noises. One is too much social media time with newsfeed. It's noise. Too much. I don't need it. Too much political stuff right now. You think a big thinker is, looking at every single thing about Hillary Clinton and she's doing this. Did you know about she did this? And did you know Trump did this? And did you know that? They get bullet points in the morning when they wake up because current affairs, you got to know what's going on with politics because it's a country you're living in. But if you go dive into it, then you're reading the conspiracy theory, then Zeitgeist and Alex Jones, then, Rachel Maddow, then all this other, oh my gosh, did you see what Anderson Cooper said? Sean Han, hey, Bill, you're too much into it. That's noise. Way too much noise. Way too much noise. Clinton and Trump are not going to change your life. They're not. They're not going to change your habits. They're not going to make you a better entrepreneur. They're not going to make you sharper. They're not going to help you come up with better ideas. They're actually going to consume your mind with things you shouldn't be thinking about that's going to piss you off. Because regardless who you support, you don't like the other person. So the other person is going to piss you off nonstop. Turn off the noise. Turn off the noise of negative friends, small thinkers. Turn off the noise of family members that don't support what you want to do. Don't even bring up the ideas in front of them. Some of them you can't get away from. Some of them are your parents. Some of them are your brothers and sisters, siblings. Some of them could be your boyfriend, girlfriend. Some of them could be your spouse. Some of them could be your cousin. Turn it off, and if you know you bring up an idea, they're going to go to negative town, do not bring it up in front of them. Turn off the noise. Okay? Turn off the noise. Stop any distractions, any negativity. Make time to think about what you could do to think bigger in the business, in the venture, in whatever company, whatever business you're running. As a real estate agent, insurance agent, as a technology, IT engineer, it doesn't matter. What can you do to think bigger yourself, to be the dominant force in the company you're a part of, in the business you're a part of, in the industry you're a part of? What can you do? Think bigger, right? Think bigger. Next one is test the capacity of an idea. What is the capacity of an idea? Take out a paper and pen or a board. All you need is a board and a marker or a pen and a paper. Test out the capacity of the idea. Okay, what would happen if this happened? How big can this thing get? It can get this big. How big is the market for this? It's pretty big. It's like, how big can that market be? Well, how big is the market in New York? 8.3 million people. How big is the market in LA? 4.2 million. How big is the market in Houston? 3.8. Didn't they just pass Chicago? Chicago's not 3.6 or something? Yeah. That's a pretty big market. If we go, how big is this market for this? Test it. What if we actually, what if we sell to this market? What if we get into that market? What if we got more people that we're doing? What if we got more people to sell the product? What if we got somebody apart? What if this person that teamed up? What if that person partner? What? Man, that's capacity is pretty good if we do this. But test the capacity. What if I take this even to a whole different level? Remember, Mark Zuckerberg wasn't necessarily a big thinker. He was a developer, a brain, a mind. The big thinker, where Facebook became who it is who? What's his name? Do you know the name? What's the name?
The Napster dude, right?
What's his name?
Sean.
Last name? Parker.
Yeah.
Okay? So Sean Parker was played by who in that movie? Justin Timberlake. Sean Parker is a Napster guy, he says, man, I feel like we have $1 million opportunity. Sean says, no. This is a $1 billion opportunity, right? And he comes and he sees the capacity and he says, what if we can get into this? What if this is not just universities? What if this is not just colleges? What if the capacity? What if we go into Canada? What if we go into Europe? You haven't even gone to anywhere yet. What if? And then, man, he's got a point. What if? Boom. Today, 1.7 billion users, Facebook. Dominant over everybody. Zuckerberg's worth 50 something. Sean's worth a few billion. Edward's worth a few billion. A bunch of people made a bunch of money. And, it wasn't like a bunch of people made a lot of money. But everybody was thinking about what can they do to test the capacity. So everybody was testing the capacity of how they can make it bigger and bigger and bigger. Group of big thinkers that said, what if we can make this thing even bigger? Test the capacity. Next, let the idea loose. Let the idea loose a little bit. Let it loose. The Tasmanian devil needs to be let loose at times. You can't lock up a Tasmanian devil. You won't know his capacity. You got to let him loose at times. You got to let a great idea loose at times and see what it leads to. It could take you to places you never thought you could get to, but you got to let the idea loose at times. You got to let the idea loose at times, and you'll see it spread. It's kind of like test the capacity, but let the idea loose. So imagination, test the capacity, let the idea loose. They're all kind of somewhat together, but each one of them I want to tell you so you kind of understand the purpose of each one of them. Next, curiosity. Ask a lot of questions. For instance, I'm in an industry. I had a call today with a very big company. Let's just say a few $100 billion. We had a conference call today with them, and they're very interested in what we're doing. And I brought up the idea to them on what I want to do. Okay, and I got into and I was telling them all these ideas on what I have going on, what I'm thinking about doing, and I started questioning certain things. And he's like, "Wow, it sounds like you know the market pretty well." And it seems like you kind of, I said, yeah, well, we were curious about this. And because we were curious, we asked this question. When we asked this question, we got this answer. And when we asked this question, it made us research this. And this research brought us to another question that led to us another question. And we got the answer here. And then we also looked at this here because we were curious what could happen if we could do this. And as we got stuck because one question we couldn't answer. And then we figured this out and we contacted the right person, then a right attorney, who's $1,200 an hour, and then she introduced us to this person and that person, and we got this answered, right? But we were curious, and we asked the right questions. And so collectively, they're on the call, now we're meeting, New York, big meeting, et cetera, then that could lead into a whole different story, because we're curious on how we can make an industry that I'm a part of, that's probably the most boring industry in the world, the life insurance industry that no one's paying attention to, but because we're curious, we're finding ways to disrupt this entire industry that I am in love with. That people think, Pat, you're out of your mind. How do you love life insurance? I love what we do, right? But we were curious. And I'll get into a little bit more on that later on in the video. Next, ask the question when you're thinking big, why not you? And answer it. I'm not just doing this motivational video. Why not you? Why shouldn't you win? No, forget motivational. Let's get logical. Why not you? Actually answer that. Why can't you be somebody that can do something in your business that's never been done before? Why not you? Answer it. So give the argument. Logically, here's why, not me. Because I don't work hard enough. You can fix that. Stop being lazy. Well, whatever, but because I'm not that good in sales. You can learn sales. So, okay, because I don't know much about the product. You can learn the product, but why not you? Because no one in my family's been rich. So what? No one wasn't rich in Zuckerberg's family before he became who he is today. And nobody was in Jobs. Jobs' mom even gave him up for adoption. He has, so whatever. But so why not you? Make the argument. Why not you? Truly get into it. Then give the other argument. Why not you actually doing this? Why shouldn't you be the person? And say, I'm a very smart person. I love people. I actually like to make money to make a difference in the world. And you know what? I care for people. And I have some things I want to do. If I get money in my pocket, it'll be good. I'll do good with it. And I got a big heart. And I am talented. And I know the right people. Boom! That's why not you. Make both cases as if you're an attorney representing yourself. One, why not you, meaning you shouldn't be the person? And the other, why not you, meaning you should be the person? Sell both of them. And then see which argument wins. Some tells me the argument on this side is going to win. Well, make that argument. Take a sheet of paper and make that argument. Why not you? Question that a little bit. Who convinced you can't do it? Who convinced you can't be part of a group of people? I watch so many guys on YouTube that, are even some of these guys are considered experts by big magazines and they've written New York Times bestsellers. And they say some shit like, oh, entrepreneurs are born. Give me a damn break. Entrepreneurship can be taught. Entrepreneurship is an inspiration that comes from here for some people that want to solve a bigger problem. What do you mean entrepreneurship is something you're born with? I completely disagree with that statement. Fully disagree with that statement. Jumping 48 inches, that's God-given ability. You can't do that. Entrepreneurship, it is a formula. If you hang around other people that think like this and you watch this video and you watch all of Valuetainment or some of the people that are feeding the right type of content to you and the right books you read, your imagination won't stop working. Because the entrepreneur is numbers, solving problems. How can I do it better, faster? Why can't you learn those skills and the skill sets? Why can't you? You can. So why not you? And don't let anybody convince you that people who solve some big problems and are big thinkers, they have to be born being big things. I'm here to tell you, you can figure out the formula to thinking bigger. Don't let them convince you that these elite people, sometimes I sit around my friends who are worth money as well. I'm around these guys all the time. So now, hey, Pat, come around the meeting. We're going to go have some party with these billionaires. Or we're going to go hang out. Okay, great. I'm with these guys. And, I was always special because oh my gosh, stop it already. When you almost lost everything, you did not think you were special. None of us do. And then we, have our break and we win. And you can do it as well. Next one, cut the fat. Cut the fat out of your life. Let me tell you what I mean by cut the fat. If video games is not how you're planning on making your money, cut the fat. If you have these 3 hobbies of you playing badminton in Bakersfield or you're playing ping pong or bowling league or all this other stuff that's requiring 9 hours of your time, cut the fat. If you got 3 girlfriends or 3 boyfriends, cut the fat. If you party at the nightclub 3 times a week, cut the fat. If you're going out there not taking life seriously and there's 2 bad habits you have or vice that no one knows about, cut the fat. It's holding you back from thinking big. Stop it. It's not helping you out as much as you think it is. Cut the fat. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't need to explain it to you. You know exactly what you're talking about. Think about it. You're thinking about it right now. That thing you're thinking about, cut it. If you want to think big, it's holding you back. It ain't worth it. I promise you. Whatever thing that's giving you fulfillment, it ain't going to give you as much fulfillment as thinking big. I guarantee you that part. It ain't going to give you as much fulfillment. We got to cut the fat. Next is believers. Be around believers. Now, there's a part of this that's environment, but I'm talking about believers that's believing in your idea. This could actually happen. What if we could actually do this? What if we could actually pull this off? You need believers. Just like Justin Bieber has his fans, he calls them what? Believers? Believers. You need believers is what you need. You don't need no believers. You need believers is what you need. Okay, next. This one's a little technical. So I'm going to try to explain it to you in a way, but it's a little bit technical. Okay? Momentum versus resistance. Momentum versus resistance. What is momentum versus resistance? Big thinkers typically have one of these 2 on their side. No one goes and takes the normal way out of being a big thinker, right? It's either they get themselves caught up in the momentum that's taking place in an industry, or they go absolutely against resistance and they win, they become a hero. You want some points? I'll give you some points. For instance, John F. Kennedy had momentum. Okay? MLK went against resistance. Now, both of them, they were assassinated. I'm not telling you you're going to get assassinated. I'm telling you they both did something that history favors both of them. JFK, MLK. JFK had momentum. MLK had resistance. History books, 2,000 years from now, if Armageddon doesn't happen and we're still around and our great-great-great-great-grandkids are around, they're going to know about JFK and they're going to know about resistance, MLK. Let me continue. Today, on this side, you would have Elon Musk, resistance. Why? You tell me the last time somebody broke into the car market and gave Ford, Toyota, Chevrolet, GM, all these guys a run for their money. You tell me the last time someone did that. Who? Fisker? Fisker failed. Who else you're thinking about? When's the last time? How many years? No one has. Elon Musk went against resistance. Let me get this straight. You're going to create electric cars and you're going to take market away from these bigger guys? Yes. How are you planning on doing that? It's resistance. He went against resistance. The other one, PayPal, resistance. Why? No one's gonna trust. Remember back in the days when people didn't trust buying things online? I don't trust giving my credit card information. Remember those days? Today, how often do you give your credit card information online? They had resistance. There was resistance for it. Amazon was resistance. You're gonna stop selling books in bookstores? No. Borders. No. Barnes and no. Resistance. He proved. He won. Almost went out of business, but he won. Okay? Now momentum. Netflix is momentum. Someone said, but that's also resistance. No, it's momentum. Today, I watched a movie. What movie did I tell you guys about? I was very impressed with. Accountant with Ben Affleck. I'm not a Ben Affleck fan, but Ben Affleck did a Good Will Hunting, phenomenal, and Accountant, best movie of the year for me. Phenomenal movie, right? Right now, you know what momentum is? Today is not making movies, is making episodic series, whatever you want to call it, House of Cards or Narcos, or give me some of them.
Orange is the New Black.
All these other things that are out there. That's momentum. So people are making it. YouTube wants to do that. You got Roku, you got Hulu, you got everybody. That's momentum. People are on that momentum wave. In mortgages in 2003, 2004, when mortgages were skyrocketing, everybody was getting into the NAGAM, pick a payment loan. That was momentum. You're riding the momentum. But in 2008, Big Short, the movie, okay, that was about what? Michael Lewis wrote it. That was about resistance. Same industry. One way is momentum. The other one is resistance. They said, no, this is going to collapse. Here's $300 million. You're out of your mind. Goldman Sachs, here's $300 million. Yes, haha, he's an idiot. Resistance, day one. Made a lot of money. Millions of people lost their homes. Resistance. So what are you doing? I'm in the resistance game. I'm in the life insurance business. I'm not in the momentum business. I'm in the resistance business. I'm in the resistance business today. I'm in a business that most people say, oh, I'm not going to get into insurance. I'm in a business right now with the financial industry, regulation. I'm in the resistance business. But here's what I do know about the resistance business. I do know 41% of Americans don't have any life insurance. I do know 95 million adults today don't have life insurance. I do know we have the fewest amount of life insurance agents we've ever had in America in a long time, nearly 50 years. 50 years. I know what's happening in the industry. There is resistance in our industry. I know the industry lacks in multicultural agents. I know the industry is increasing in multicultural clients that like to be sold preferably by multicultural clients. I know the industry has resistance because 25-year-olds coming out of college are now turned on by the life insurance industry. We're doing it. And we're very comfortable saying life insurance. Our competitors are afraid. Don't use the word. People don't like it. I don't care if you don't like it. I love the industry. Resistance. Resistance. I know people buy shoes, cars, homes, clothes. No one buys life insurance. Life insurance is sold. It's resistance. I know it. But I see a massive opportunity with it because I see exactly what's going on with the industry. I chose resistance. You don't have to choose resistance. There's momentum, there's resistance. You choose which one you want to be a part of. And by the way, I can go on right now. VR virtual reality is what momentum. It's the hot thing. Hot thing, virtual reality, right? You got offense, you got defense. You can put it up the way you want to put it up. But virtual, you got the offense, defense. I already covered a bunch of these things that I have here. Momentum, resistance. How is your business going to be part of either one of these things? Is it going to be momentum or is it going to be resistance? Big thinkers figure one of these two out. You know what, if we do this, what if this thing gets like this because there's momentum? You know what, there's so many problems in our industry. What if we actually solve it? We're heroes. Resistance. Which one do you want? Big thinker chooses one of these two. Make a list of it. In your field, in your company, in your industry, in your profession you've chosen to be a part of. Which of them do you want to be part of? You can choose either. I chose resistance. Many choose momentum. You can choose your own. Okay? Let me continue. Next. Look where no one's looking. Look where no one's looking. I've said this so many times. You go to a bar, men, when you go to a bar, who is everybody looking at that bar or nightclub? Who? Hottest girl in the club. And everyone knows which one it is. The girl in the green dress. Everyone's checking her out. And guess who's around her? Everybody. You know what your odds are? If there's 500 men in that nightclub, there's one of her, it's 1 to 500. You know what that percentages are? 0.2% chance she's going to say yes to you. Do you want those kind of odds? You don't want those kinds of odds. Go find the 8 and look what happens with the 8. The 8 has only 30 men looking at her. You're one of them. You got 3% chance. It's higher chances. Go look at places that no one's looking at and see who's more interesting. It's not always the sexiest thing on the outside that's the best company to be a part of or the best industry to be a part of. Sometimes it's where no one's looking. Everyone's going here, you go here. Everybody and their mothers is joining this incredible next movement that's going to be the revolution of da-da-da-da-da. That's great. Let them go. You go look at something no one's looking at. Massive opportunity. Blue ocean, red ocean. Shark-infested market. Everyone's biting, killing each other. There's only a couple sharks you're dealing with. You can actually negotiate with those sharks. Say, listen, I got a big bite. You want to share this? Yeah, here's a bite for you, here's a bite for me. We're cool? Pepsi, Coke. Big market. You take some, I'll take some. Are we cool? We're cool, but only 2. Everybody else wants to fight for wine. Everybody else wants to fight for, beer. Look, dude, what do you want? You're a big shark, I'm a big shark. Yeah, go eat the food. I'll give you some. Here's yours. All right, let's go do it. Go where no one's looking at. Oof, it's so much easier. Next, deliberately forbid conventional solutions. Stop thinking about the conventional way of doing things. No, you got to be out of the box thinker. You got to be out of the box. And you can't think about every single way everybody else wants to solve that problem. Drop conventional thinking. Big thinkers kind of look at different ways. They stick to it and they don't constantly change all the time, because once something works, you stick to it. And then when you have to make certain adjustments or adapting all that other, you don't make overhauls, because when you make overhauls, man, it hurts you. But you make adjustments. Some say Tiger Woods could have beaten Jack Nicklaus's record of the most Masters if he wouldn't have dramatically changed his swing when he did. That took his game back 2-3 years, and then he got hurt because it was a major shift. And I know people say the knee, the back, all this other stuff, but he could have won more Masters because it was too dramatic of a shift. There's a lot of motivational speakers that like to say, look what Tiger did, and he made the shift even in his career. I get it. Probably validates an argument that person's trying to make at that time. But sometimes when something works, work it. But while you go into your game plan, try all the other conventional thinking, unconventional way of solving that problem that industry or company or the product is facing. So what do you do now? Let's just say you have your plan in place. What do you do now? Now you got to work backwards. So think big. Where do I see myself being 10 years from now in this business, in this company, in this industry? Put a 10-year plan. How about 5 years? Then 3, then 1, then 6, then 3 months. Then today, put a 1, 2, 3 plan together. Today I need to focus on 1 this, 2 this, 3 this. Everything needs to be tied to a number. Why? Because big thinking has to do with what? So first thing I said, math. So everything is math. You notice numbers here. It's math. Put your numbers together. Start thinking bigger. And next thing you know, you'll actually will say, this big thinking stuff is not as difficult as I thought it was. But I hope you take this whole message very seriously on how to think big. And I wanted to give it to you in a way that most people, the typical traditional things you read on magazines that set goals, do this. I want to give you in a completely different way of thinking about bigger that some of the other outlets don't talk about. But my challenge to you is, don't make this about you. Make it about a bigger cause. The world is depending on you to think big and solve problems today more than ever. And like I said earlier, it is easier today to think bigger than ever before. Mario, let me get my pillow here. By the way, some of you guys, Mario wanted me to send a message to you guys, and thank you guys for the most incredible heartfelt messages you guys been sending him about Street Team. Mario is so thankful about all the messages.
I love you.
I love you. If you haven't seen him, don't worry about it, but Mario's been getting a lot of love from people that watch Street Team. Paul, you're part of that as well, so I got to throw you in that too. You're part of that as well. They're trying to figure it out, see what's going to happen with Street Team. We're going to be launching a lot of new stuff here soon, so stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to Valuetainment yet, please do so. Our goal is to get to 250,000 subs. We're at 100-some thousand subs now. Our goal is to get to 250,000 subs by June 1st of next year. This is a channel that many say is the number 1 channel for entrepreneurs on YouTube. We'd love for you to test it out against anybody else out there that gives you the best how-to for entrepreneurship without asking you for $8,000 or $6,000 or $10,000. or $5,000. Free content that we have here. You want to say something?
Contest videos.
Say that again.
Looking at the contest videos.
That's right. We got a ton of them. By the way, for some of you guys, when we did the 100,000, if you haven't posted your video yet, October 25th is the last day to post your video. We already have a ton of people that have posted, and Mario's put the top 15 or 16 playlists that you can see. Just go on YouTube and type in Why I Love Valuetainment. You'll see a bunch of people that have submitted their videos. We're going to choose 3 of them where you'll fly in here to Dallas, Texas, and you and I will get some one-on-one time for 3 hours for me to do the business planning with you for your business in 2017. But only 3 of you will be chosen to come here and spend some time with us. So if you haven't submitted it yet, you can always email Mario. Why don't I give him your email? Marketing@patrickbaydavid.com. Paul, let's put that email address here. Marketing@patrickbaydavid.com. He'll get back to you. It still works. Marketing@patrickbaydavid.com. And if you got any questions about the episode today on how to think big, comment on the bottom. Questions, thoughts. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.